Welcome, students. This is Dr. Deepthi Variku, Department of Physiotherapy, Dolphin PG Institute of Biomedical and Natural Sciences. Our today's topic is cardiac rehabilitation. Cardiac rehabilitation is a complex interprofessional intervention customized to individual patients with various cardiovascular diseases. And these cardiovascular diseases are one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Now, what is cardiac rehabilitation? Cardiac rehabilitation refers to coordinated, multifaceted interventions which are basically designed to optimize a cardiac patient's physical, psychological, and social functioning. In addition to that, it also is important to stabilize or slow or even reversing the progression of the underlying cardiac condition. So it can be given to various cardiovascular diseases such as coronary artery diseases, heart failure, myocardial infarctions, or patients who have undergone cardiovascular interventions such as coronary angioplasty or coronary artery bypass grafting. Now, there are core components for this cardiac rehabilitation. Not only the physiotherapy physiotherapy part will be included, but it is a multifaceted part. So it has lifestyle modifications, psychological health, then medical risk factor managements, and the cardioprotective therapies. Whenever we talk about rehabilitation program, it aims to limit the psychological and physiological stresses of a patient suffering from cardiovascular disease. Here we have to reduce the risk of mortality secondary to these cardiovascular diseases. We also have to improve cardiovascular function to help the patients to achieve their highest quality of life possible. To accomplish these goals, we formate a proper proper cardiac rehabilitation. So there are lots of outcomes which we have to make sure we manage, like we have to cease the smoking for the patient, we have to manage lipid profiles regularly, weight management plays an important role, maintaining the blood pressure, and exercise tolerance is a very vital component. Then stress management is very important. Accomplishing these important outcomes is the result of improving overall cardiac function and capacity, halting or reversing the progression of the atherosclerotic disease, and increasing the patient's self confidence through gradual conditioning. This is very important in cardiac rehabilitation. So, who are the members, core members for the cardiac rehabilitation team? So, cardiac rehabilitation team has a cardiologist, the nurses, physiotherapists, dietitians, psychologists, exercise specialists, and the occupation therapist. They all play their important role. We also may include pharmacists, then the counselors, social workers. Those all could also be included in the team. Now we come to the goals of cardiac rehabilitation. The first important goal of cardiac rehabilitation is to curtail the pathophysiological and psychosocial stresses and their effects of the heart disease. We have to limit the risk of reinfarction or sudden death. We also have to work on relieving the cardiac symptoms. Then, very important, we have to retard or reverse the atherosclerotic changes by instituting programs for cardiac exercise training, education, counseling, and risk management. Reintegrate heart diseases patients into successful functional status in their families and in the society. Now, when we modify these cardiac rehabilitation goals or we work on them, we need to know what are the benefits of this program. It is essential that all cardiac rehabilitation staff have appropriate training and qualifications, the skills, then only we will have a proper benefits of the program. So the basic benefits of this cardiac rehabilitation are offset the psychological and physiological stresses, It enables the patient to return to the activities he was doing earlier. It reduces the cardiovascular and total mortality also, and it also improves the myocardial perfusion. So that is the very important role of the cardiac rehabilitation. Now we come to the indications when cardiac rehabilitation is indicated. So indications are for the patients of acute myocardial infarction or coronary artery bypass grafting, that is post CABG, or recent myocardial infarction, then chronic stable angina patients, congestive heart failure patients, after coronary artery bypass, after a percutaneous coronary intervention, or you need to know that valve replacement or repair surgeries post them also we give cardiac rehabilitation. Cardiac rehabilitation actually begins as soon as possible in intensive care units. Intensity of the rehabilitation depends on patient's condition and the complications in the acute phase of the disease. Now, what are the contraindications for the cardiac rehabilitation? Like unstable anginas and uncontrolled arrhythmias, recent embolisms, some orthopedic problems that would prohibit exercise, or moderate to severe aortic stenosis, or acute systemic fevers, or poorly controlled hypertension of the patients who have very fluctuating or high BP. At that time also we'll have to make sure that we understand what it has to do with us. Then what are the core components of cardiac rehabilitation? So first we have to go for a proper assessment. Then we have to make a nutritional chart which is made by a nutritionist. Then weight management, blood pressure control. Then we have to make a proper file for lipid profile management, diabetes if the patient is, and then the exercise charts. Cardiac rehabilitation is begins as soon as the patient is in intensive care unit. So we have to make our goals as soon as possible. We have to start off with nutritional counseling, blood pressure control, then weight managements and all, and see that risk factors are also taken under consideration. There are lots of risk factors like age, gender, personal cardiac history, some family histories or diabetes, sometimes obesity. So these have to take care. And along with the cardiac rehabilitation team, the family and the society also plays an important role in the program. Now, what are the phases of cardiac rehabilitation? So, cardiac rehabilitation is actually divided into 4 phases. So, we say it has got acute phase, phase 1, then phase 2, then phase 3, then that is the training phase, and phase 4, that is the maintenance phase. So, we'll start off with phase 1, that is acute phase. This phase begins in the inpatient setting soon after a cardiovascular event or completion of an intervention is there. So, phase 1 relates to the period of hospitalization. The duration of this phase may vary depending on the diagnosis of the patient and depending on the post-operative management of the patient. The objectives of this phase are: first, we have to make sure that early mobilization and adequate discharge planning is done properly. Risks and risk factors are taken care. We have to see that patient is diagnosed properly and family support is there, that when the patient is discharged he can work on his own. Patients are encouraged to remain relatively rested until completion of treatment of comorbid conditions or post-operative complications. So the duration of this phase is mainly 5 to 7 days, and the components mainly are medical evaluation, reassurance and education, correction of cardiac misconceptions, risk factor assessments, early individualized mobilizations, and a proper discharge planning. The rehabilitation team may also focus on activities of daily living and educate the patient on avoiding excessive stresses. Patients are encouraged to remain relatively rested until completion of treatment of comorbid conditions or postoperative complications. The rehabilitation team assesses patient needs such as assistive devices, or if the patient or the family needs any education. Then only the last point is done, that is the discharge planning. So these are the basic goals, and we have to do a proper assessment, then determine what is needed, establish a proper clinical data, and work on the behavior of the patient, the risk factors, and the family. This is the basic protocol. First, the patient will be in the coronary care unit. Day 2, he will be stabilized and few exercises will be started for day 2 and day 3. Day 4, he will be taught self-care evaluations. Day 5, it will be monitored whether the patient is ambulated properly. He can ambulate. 5, 6, we may maintain that. Day 7, low-level exercise tests are done and mild exercises are started. And day 8, patient is discharged. So these are the few steps what we follow. Step 1, we will start off with passive exercises, range of motion exercises. Active ankle exercises, self-feeding he will start, and orientation to the program. Then step 2, same exercises will be followed. We can also start off with leg dangling at the side of the bed. Then step 3, start off with active range of motion exercises, sitting in the chair exercises, उसमें बिठा के exercises करवाइए. Then bedside commode, more detailed explanation of the program could be given to the patient, and light recreational activities could be added like mild walking. Okay. Then step 4, minimal resistance is given. Here, increase the sitting time of the patient. Then educate the patient. Try to make sure that he walks independently. Then step 5, moderate resistance exercises, unlimited sitting. Sitting for meals, he can sit for meals and then be seated for activities of daily living. Then step 6, increase the resistance. Start telling the patient to walk till bathroom, or you can start with stairs, climbing and declining, then standing in the ADL activities, and group exercises. In the hospital, what we do, along with the ward, we take all the patients out who are surgeried on the same day and give group exercises to those patients. Step 7, increase exercise program and start doing the exercise trainings. Then step 8, increase exercise training. You can start off with lightweight activities, walking distance could be increased, and then the patient is ready for discharge. Now, in post-MI patients, mobilization plays a very important role. So we have to make sure that patient is mobilized about 3rd to 5th day. Then steps of mobilization, as I told you earlier, day 1 say day 2 tak bed rest is important. Day 3, short distance ambulations. Day 4, home exercise programs will be started, and 6, 7, you will start off with high intensity exercises. For post coronary artery surgery patients, you can also ambulate them after 3 or 4 days, but avoid aerobic training for 2 weeks post-operatively. So this is a chart for patient and family education. You have to teach the family about the patient, what is the condition and what is do's and don'ts for the patient. Discuss that all with the family. Then you can it also includes the cardioprotective therapies like antiplatelet therapy, lipid lowering therapies, beta blockers, AC inhibitors, calcium channel blockers, anticoagulants if necessarily. So these are all cardioprotective therapies. Then you have to make sure this risk factor management is done properly. Initially, lipid management, hypertension management, and diabetic management is controlled. Advise the patient for cessation of smoking, modify the lifestyle, and manage the stress. I told you, keep an eye on the chart of lipid management. Make sure that hypertension patient does not suffer from hypertension. Optimal BP should be 120 by 80. Diabetes also should be monitored regularly. And then manage the stress. We could manage the stress by giving the patients relaxation exercises and then deep breathing exercises in initial stages, or normal breathing exercises. Survival kit should be given to the patient before discharge. Clear information about medication. Clear advice on managing chest pain if it occurs or reoccurs. And advise the patient properly what do's and don'ts are there. Then we move to phase 2, that is an outpatient cardiac rehab phase. Once a patient is stable and cleared by cardiology, outpatient cardiac rehabilitation may begin. Phase 2 typically lasts 3 to 6 weeks, though some may last up to 12 weeks also. Initially, patients have an assessment with a focus on underlying limitations in physical functioning, restrictions of participation, secondary to any comorbidities, and limitations to activities. So, what are the objectives? It focuses on health education and resumption of physical activity back to the ADLs. It may take the format of telephone follow ups or home visits, or the patient can come for sessions for evaluation purposes. So, these are the assessment protocols which we have to maintain. Make sure you take a proper chart for the vitals. Then, if there is any dyspnea, this should be maintained in a file. Then, auscultations of the lungs should be done regularly. If there is any edema or not, and inspection of the surgical sites for proper healing. Then ECG for rhythm of the monitoring rhythm of the heart. If there is any pain or change in the posture, this all has to be checked properly. A more religious patient centered therapy plan is designed in this phase. It is immediate post discharge phase. So duration, as I told you, is 8 to 6 weeks. And C, it basic components of this phase are health education, exercise, and stress management. The rehabilitation of this phase should be tailored program, tailored for every patient, separately for every patient. So the goals of this rehabilitation phase is increase exercise capacity and endurance in a safe and progressive manner. Teach the patient to apply techniques of self monitoring of home activities, relieve anxiety and depression, and increase patients' knowledge. Now, the exercise program will be, as I told you, the frequency will be 3 to 5 times per week. And then you can give exercises up to 4 METs. Time should be 5 to 30 minutes, interspersed with rest periods, and progress to about 30 minutes. Now, what type of exercises you can give? Sitting, standing, functional activities, range of motion exercises, walking activities. Okay, now we will start off with 30 minutes and then gradually increase the duration of the exercises. We will include a warm up, 5 to 10 minutes of warm up and cool down. And you can also check about the exercises by an arm ergometer so that you keep on a tracing of the exercises. Strengthening always begins at 3rd week of cardiac rehabilitation, 5th week in post MI cases, and 8th week in post CABG cases. It begins with bands and light weights, and then we progress to moderate weights for exercises. We have to make sure that risk factors are taken care. It includes the risk factor addresses like we did in phase 1. Everything should be maintained here. Keep an watch on cessation of the smoking of the patient, and weight management and lipid management, lipid profile checking. Then one more thing which is very important in this phase is psychosocial rehabilitation. So, for psychosocial rehabilitation, common psychological reactions are low mood, tearfulness, sleep disturbances. So, you have to work on these things. So, you can work on these things by proper counseling, or you can give the patients relaxation exercises. Then we move to phase 3, that is post cardiac rehabilitation, training or maintenance phase. This phase involves more independence and self monitoring of the patient. Phase 3 centers on increasing flexibility, strength, and aerobic conditioning of the patient. This is also sometimes called as exercise phase. The duration of this phase may vary from 6 to 12 weeks. Okay. Now, what are the objectives or goals of this phase? We have functional goals, psychosocial goals, and preventive goals. So, main goals are to facilitate long term maintenance of lifestyle changes, monitoring risk factor changes, and secondary preventions. So, how we do these all things? There are lots of multidisciplinary interventions and components. We have to go for educational sessions, support groups, telephonic conversations with the patients, then group therapies, outreach programs, exercise programs organized by qualified instructors. Okay, these all things, और family को भी psychological and social support देना है, so that they give proper training to the patient. So these are the basic things which we have to work. We have to work on nutritional counseling, clinical assessment, physical activity counseling, exercise training, psychosocial management, and risk factors management of the patient. As all the phases, we do first the assessment, check the full assessment of the thorough assessment of the patient, go for echo or exercise tolerance tests, then go to assess about the vitals, then weight management has to be checked, waist circumference, lipid profiles. If the patient is a diabetic, check for the glucose levels of the patient. Then risk factor management. There are lots of risk factors which have to be managed here. First is the ischemic risk. So, post operative angina patients are the basic patients who come under this category. So, we have to evaluate these patients regularly and see that there is no alterations in the proper reports. Then arrhythmic risk could be there. It mainly goes for acute infarction patients within 6 weeks. So again, you have to make sure you keep an eye on ventricular dysfunctions. Okay, keep a proper watch on the reports of the patient. Then exercise prescription. Exercise prescription in this phase is mainly done on BOGS or modified BOGS ratings. So we do it only as we go for heart rate maximum. So you all know what is heart rate maximum. It is 220 minus the age of the person. So the modified BOG scale tells us that we have to reach heart rate max, and this is considered as proper exercise prescription for the patient. In low risk patients, a program to achieve 85% of the maximum heart rate is safe. But when you are working on the patients with risk of angina or any kind of arrhythmia, you can also deal up to 60% of the maximum heart rate. So this is a basic scale which you can use. You have to give a patient perceived exertion rate of perceived exertion, and see here, you can see in the chart, the maximum is when the patient is very hard to work. The scale goes for 6 to 10 when the patient is breathing very heavily, 3 to 5 when the patient feels hard to breathe, and these are the patients who are easily performing the activity. Depending on this only, you will give the percentage of maximum heart rate you will try to achieve in exercise training. Now, what are the types of training you will give in phase 3? First is the steady state training. It is a sustained activity where workload and heart rate are maintained at a constant sub-maximal intensity. In this, we could give exercises like jogging, walking, stepping, and cycling. Then there are interval trainings. In the exercise is followed by a rest interval here. It is perceived to be less demanding than continuous. So here, high intensity works can be achieved as there is appropriate spacing of work relief intervals. Then we could go for circuit training. This employs a series of exercises or activities, and at the end of the last activity, the individual again begins with the initial activity. This improves the strength and endurance by stressing both the aerobic and anaerobic components of the patient. Then warm up period is to increase in muscle temperature. This decreases the rate of injuries, increases the need of oxygen. So this is also induced here. Now once again I am repeating the exercise program. The frequency is 3 to 4 times per week. Intensity is 60 to 70% of maximum heart rate. Then time period is 20 to 60 minutes. And what type of exercises we are giving? Aerobic and endurance training. Then cool down period is also there. It is to prevent the pooling of the blood in the extremities and enhance the recovery period. Make sure that during this exercise, no kind of risk factors are chased, or you avoid any sort of fatal things like heart failure. So these are the exercise modalities in heart failure. I would like you all to go for this chart. This is by Canadian Heart Failure Management Guidelines. Before going to the exercises, make sure you read about this in this chart. Then stop the exercises if the patient has persistent dyspnea, बहुत ज़्यादा breathlessness हो रहा है, dizziness or confusion, sudden pain in the chest, that is onset of angina, leg claudication, excessive fatigue, suddenly patient becomes pale or starts sweating or becomes cold or has some confusions like ataxia or incoordinated movements or sudden bone joint pains or vomits, or BP shoots up very high, or you see some significant ECG changes, then stop the exercise at that time. It is very important. Then there are contraindications for exercise training. Same things which we see in conditions like unstable angina, if the BP shoots, critical aortic stenosis, uncompensated congestive heart failure, third degree atrioventricular block, active pericarditis or any myocarditis, recent embolism, thrombophlebitis. These conditions you have to not start with this phase. Again, work on the lifestyle modification of the patient. Make a chart on the diabetes of the patient, the lipid profile, hypertension, blood sugar levels. Then proper nutritional counseling of the patient is recommended. Diet should be low in fat and high in complex carbohydrates. Diet should consist 50 to 60% calories from carbohydrates, up to 30% from fats, and 10 to 50% from proteins. Weight management is very important. The main goal is to maintain the BMI between, maintain BMI below the obese level, and then the weight should be maintained properly. Tell the patient to walk and maintain his weight and waist circumference. Cease the smoking. It is very important. And then patient will return to work. Although improvement in functional capacity and the association reduction in cardiorespiratory symptoms may enhance a cardiac patient's ability to return to work, but we have to make sure that the patient returns to work should be always after 6 weeks. Then we move to phase 4 of the cardiac rehabilitation. This is the last maintaining phase. This phase contributes the components of long-term maintenance of lifestyle changes and professional monitoring of the clinical status. It is when patient leaves the structured phase 3 program and continues the exercise and other lifestyle modifications himself. So this phase basically works on patient himself. Now, what are the objectives? Maintenance of achieved functional status. Then patient has to return to work and return to hobbies and lifestyle works and ADL activities. That is very important. Here, exercise program will be designed like frequency should be one session or one session per day and 3 to 4 days per week. Intensity should be 60 to 80% of VO2 max. Time is desired 30 to 60 minutes as we have done in phase 3 also. And now what are the activities we will do in this phase are dancing, hill walking, resistance exercises. The exercises need to be integrated into the patient's lifestyle in this phase. Then we have to work on secondary preventions. The secondary preventions also need to be integrated into the patient's lifestyle. Again, I am telling you, keep a proper watch on the sugar levels, the lipid profiles, and the BP of the patient. Patient and family responsibilities are very important in this space. Not only the patient will work on self-care, but the family must help the patient to adhere to their long-term managements. We have to make sure that patients shouldn't exercise if they are generally unwell, symptomatic, or clinically unstable. That in that cases we have to tell the patient that they have to stop doing activities, and family also has to be taught about these things. Cessation of smoke and dietary managements, nutritional counseling. This is very important to family as well. Now I will give a look, a summary look and special considerations towards the cardiac rehabilitation program. So the components are warm up, muscular training, conditioning, aerobic exercises, and cool down. Warm up is done in phase 1, 2, and 4. Muscular conditioning is done to phase 2 to phase 4, 2, 3, 4. Aerobic exercises are again done in all the 4 phases, and cool down is also done in all four phases. In this chart, you can see the duration of these things, how they vary in all the 4 phases. Exercise prescription in phase 1 is 2 to 3 times per day. In phase 2, 1 to 2 times per day. Phase 3, 3 to 5 times per week. And again, it remains same for phase 4. Intensity mein we have to make sure that resting heart rate is achieved in phase 1 and phase 2, but we can go for maximum heart rate maximum in phase 3 and phase 4. In phase 1, the duration will be 10 to 20 minutes, phase 2 20 to 60 minutes, phase 3 30 to 60 minutes, and phase 4 again it goes up to 20 to 60 minutes. Now, what are the activities which could be done? The activities could on phase 1 could be normal range of motion exercises, treadmill training, bike, or it could be any other thing. Phase 2, again we will start off with range of motion exercises, treadmill training, arm ergometer, and other type of training. Phase 3, walking, jogging, biking, swimming, all type of endurance sports could be used. Phase 4, again same things could be used. So this is the basic exercise prescription for cardiac rehabilitation patients. This is for the inpatient physical activities. When the patient is inpatient, you can start off in step 1 with ankle exercises, in step 2 with mild exercises twice daily, step 3 you can increase the exercises. This is the just what education you have to give to the patient in all the 8 steps which I have already told you in the patients while they are doing activities. So this was about the cardiac rehabilitation. The cardiac rehabilitation, as I already discussed with you, it is a multidisciplinary approach, and the program aims to limit the psychological and physiological stresses of these patients who have undergone any cardiac surgeries or who have the stress of cardiovascular disease. I hope you understood about the cardiac rehabilitation. If there are any queries or doubts, you could ask me in your classes. Thank you so much. See you in the next class.